UFC 323 co-main event preview. Alexandre Pantoja versus Joshua Van. Flyweight title clash. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this deep dive into one of the most intriguing flyweight title defenses of 2025. UFC flyweight champion Alexandre "The Cannibal" Pantoja defending his belt against the surging knockout artist Joshua "The Fearless" Van. This co-main event headlines UFC 323 on December 6th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, airing live on ESPN Plus PPV. It's a classic tale of grizzled veteran versus explosive prospect, Brazilian jiu-jitsu wizardry clashing with Burmese American striking fireworks. With Pantoja aiming for his 5th title defense and Van looking to cap a breakout year with gold, the stakes couldn't be higher. Let's break it down. Records, backgrounds, strengths and weaknesses, betting probabilities, and my final prediction. Quick fighter backgrounds. Starting with the champ, Alexandre Pantoja, 35, hails from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where he honed his craft in the infamous Nova Union gym alongside legends like Jose Aldo and Marcin Held Oliveira. A UFC veteran since 2017, Pantoja entered the promotion as a tough alum, but grinded through early setbacks, including 2 close decision losses to top contenders. He exploded onto the scene in 2023 by dethroning Brandon Moreno in a wild back-and-forth war to claim the flyweight strap, a moment that cemented his status as the division's most relentless finisher. Off the mat, Pantoja's a family man and devout Christian, often crediting his faith for his unyielding hunger, earning him the Cannibal moniker for his voracious ground attacks. On the challenger side, Joshua Van, just 24, brings a multicultural edge. Born in Hakka, Myanmar, to a Burmese family, he moved to the U.S. as a kid and trains out of the famed Kill Cliff FC in Florida, alongside heavyweights like Gilbert Burns. Van burst into the UFC in 2023 with a first-round KO on the Contender Series, and he's been a wrecking ball ever since, racking up stoppages against mid-tier flyweights. A former amateur standout with a 4-0 record, Van's story is one of resilience, overcoming cultural barriers and a nomadic upbringing to become the youngest challenger in flyweight title history. He's vocal about representing Southeast Asian fighters, and his 2025 campaign has been electric, with 3 finishes in 4 fights. UFC Records at a glance. Pantoja enters with an impeccable 30-5 overall MMA record, translating to a stellar 13-3 in the UFC, all at flyweight. He's on an 8-fight win streak, including 4 title defenses via submission, decision, and TKO. Pantoja holds flyweight records for most UFC wins, 13, most submissions, 7, and most finishes, 7, with a 66.7% finish rate overall that spiked to over 80% in his recent run. His path to the belt? Signature chokes over Moreno and Kai Kara-France, plus gritty decisions against Steve Erceg and Mokaev. Van counters with a 15-2 overall record and an 8-1 UFC mark, all at 125 pounds. He's riding a 5-fight win streak, boasting 7 career KOs or TKOs and a blistering 2:03.52 octagon time, proof of his quick-draw finishes. His lone UFC loss? A controversial split decision to Tatsuro Taira in 2024. Standout wins include a first-round knockout of Zhalgas Zhumagulov and Cody Durden, showcasing his power against ranked foes. In short, Pantoja's ground control could smother Van's fireworks, but if Van keeps it standing early, his power might crack the champ's armor. Winner probability and betting edge. The odd makers are all in on experience. Pantoja sits at -265, 73% implied win probability, while Van's +200 underdog tag gives him about 33%. Method props tilt heavily Pantoja way, his submission at +150, or 40% implied, versus Van's KO at +450, or 18% implied. Lines open tighter at -245, but sharpened as Van's hype cooled post his last decision win. Value? Sprinkle on Pantoja by sub if you like locks, Van by KO for the upset hunter. My prediction, how it plays out and why Pantoja wins. This one's a grappler's delight in a striker's clothing. Van comes out hot, peppering Pantoja with leg kicks and jabs to disrupt rhythm, maybe even wobbling the champ with a flying knee in round 1. But Pantoja's no fool. He'll weather the storm, clinch up, and chain wrestle into top control by round 2. Van's takedown defense holds early, but Pantoja's pressure is sufficing. Expect him to hunt the back or guillotine as Van scrambles. I see Pantoja submitting Van via rear naked choke in round 3 or 4. Why? Superior BJJ edges overwhelmed Van's untested ground game. Pantoja snared bigger threats like Moreno, and Van's never faced this level of chain wrestling. At 73% probability, the champ's experience trumps Van's youth. The kid's a future star, but 2025 ain't his takeover year yet. Pantoja rolls to 31-5, extending his reign as flyweight devourer. Tune in Saturday. This could steal the show from the main event. Who you got? Drop your picks below. Until next time, fight fans, train hard, stay fearless.